So yes, proximal means close, the closest to the origin. So my deltoid muscle would be proximal to my phalanges because it's closer to where it originates than my fingers are. This proximal convoluted tubule is closest to where it's coming out of, where it begins. So it's proximal. Convoluted means it's all twisty-turny, bended up. So a proximal convoluted tubule is this tube. Proximal convoluted, so we'll go Bowman capsule into proximal convoluted tubule, and then we go straight down, and just like when we were talking about our colon, when it goes down, it was descending. Well, this is the same thing. This is the descending branch of your loop of Henle. So this is the descending loop. And then we go to the very bottom here, which is called the loop of Henle. And then as we're going up, you call it the ascending loop, because we're going back up. So, Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubules, descending loop, loop of Henle, ascending loop, and then we hit our distal convoluted tubule, because it's the one furthest away. Distal convoluted tubule then will connect to your collecting duct, and you can see you have little branches off of that collecting duct. That's because you have millions of these nephrons, and to help kind of compact everything into those small little kidneys, we have one collecting duct, and you may have hundreds or even thousands of nephrons connected to that one duct. So you'd have another nephron of all this mess connected there, another one over here connected, so you'd have since my board doesn't work, you'd have a Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted, a descending loop, loop of Henle, ascending loop, distal convoluted tubule, and then connect there.
It's weird that it'll draw on the picture, but not the...
I know. Well, it's messed up right in about this area. So there would be another one, there's another one. So you'd have a whole bunch of them connected to that one collecting duct. Whew. So, you go back, if we're talking about how we get all this urine out, we're going to start Bowman's capsule. Urine or filtrate will go through the proximal convoluted tubule to the descending loop, through the loop of Henle, through the ascending loop, through the distal convoluted tubule to a collecting duct. And then that collecting duct is seen here coming through the pyramid into the minor calyx, major calyx, renal pelvis, the ureter, the bladder, the urethra, out the body. It's a mess. Another picture of what the Bowman's capsule looks like. So remember, it's got little holes. There are some important things about these little holes. We do filtrate a lot of stuff. So sodium, calcium, glucose. We filter out a whole bunch of that stuff. These little holes are very tiny. So there are things that should not be able to fit through those little holes. One, blood cells, red blood cells, do not fit through those holes. Protein is big. Protein does not fit through those holes. So, saying those two things, and white blood cells, they don't normally fit through those holes either. So saying that, what should you not ever see in your urine?
Blood.
You shouldn't see blood. There shouldn't be any red blood cells in the urine. What else? What else is too big to fit through those little holes? Protein. Shouldn't be having protein in your urine. And then depending on where we've got an infection at,
How would you know what protein
then how would you test? How would you test for blood in your urine? How would you test for glucose in your urine? How would you test for protein in your urine?
Doctor.
Color.
How are they going to test?
Color.
Colors.
They do look at the color, but your coloring look normal. What do they do?
It's not like, do they use like taste it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so what do they do with test strips?
They use one of those dishes, petri dishes.
Yes, they do a urinalysis. A urinalysis, they collect your urine. And then, yes, they can do something as simple as putting a test strip in there which has reagents on it, and it'll change colors and tell you what's in the urine. Because you can have blood in your urine and not change the color of your urine. It just may be a scant amount. But proteins you won't see normally. Now, it can change it colors too.
How would you know to go get?
So,
Quick question.
If it burns,
well, if you have any issues, you need to go get your urine tested.
Quick question. They say that like urine gets its colors